Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Texas in both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. We had Princeton Michael in the Xfinity car here for us today at Texas Motor Speedway. He's been a part of the community for quite some time, starting about mid-pack Texas. Usually doesn't go very well for our Xfinity teams. Hopefully we can change that around, especially next season, but we came through now past the midway point of this race. Princeton had actually worked his way forwards a little bit there. You see him making some moves against Brandon Brown, Jeffy Earnhardt. Now he came through on the final lap as he came through turns 3 and turns 4. He was just a little bit outside of the top 10 at this point as he came out of turns 4 for the final time. Heading down the front straightaways, he actually made contact with the 0A car, and he actually had a big crash coming to the line here as he would cross the line to finish P22 here in Texas. So a very unfortunate ending there, as there was a pretty big incident for him. Now to come through to Cup Series qualifying, heading through to cross the line with a 29.876. We qualify P20. So we definitely have our work cut out for us here today at Texas Motor Speedway. So hopefully we can figure something out and have a strong car at the end of this race as we have Kyle Busch on pole.
NASCAR roars back to Texas for the AAA Texas 500. They say everything is bigger in Texas. Well, for the remaining playoff contenders, the stakes don't get any bigger than this. Who will win today and clinch a spot in the championship? Let's find out.
Alright, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the AAA 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. Alex Bowman isn't nearly as fast as expected, and Kyle Busch, obviously, P1, that's probably like his 10th or 11th pole this season. He's always on the pole this season as Kyle Larson starts at the back of the field after failing optical scanning station, I think it was, or technical inspection. He failed something, though, as we're ready to go green here for the second race of the round of 8. Now as the green flag is out, and we are on the way. Kyle Busch leads the way with a great performance today. Kyle Busch could maybe punch his ticket already into the Final Four on points, but like I said, he's going to need a really good run now to go down into turns 1. Obviously, last episode, we kind of blew away a win at Martinsville, allowing Brad Keselowski to be able to take advantage of us in the late closing laps at Martinsville to get the victory. So unfortunately, we could have been in the Final Four locked in right now, and instead, here we are fighting our way in on points going into Texas, a track that I don't have a lot of confidence at, and same as the next track at ISM Raceway. Now it's actually called Phoenix Raceway, I should say again. So 2 tracks now that we're going to have to fight hard for that I don't have a lot of confidence at, so we're going to give it everything we've got, though I know we can definitely make something happen with this team, so hopefully we can pull it off here this season and get into the Final Four. It's only our second season in the Cup Series, so if I don't make it to the Final Four, I'm not going to be too disappointed. Now as we go down into turn 3, already up to P11 at this point here on the second lap. And sure enough, we would work our way up now into the top 10. Jimmy Johnson had actually gotten back into the mix as he was on my outside as we came through turns 3 and at turns 4 now, as we were actually getting into a battle with the 31 of Tyler Reddick, as that would clear him on the exit of turn 2. Johnson had fallen back a bit, so now we had climbed up to P8 at this point, just kind of trying to manage the positions, but actually William Byron, he would get to my inside on lap 12. He was moving his way forwards pretty quickly, and my teammate Kevin Harvick, he was joining the 24 of William Byron, both of them moving forwards fairly quickly. Obviously Harvick out of the playoffs, a surprise early exit. He's only got, what, 1 win I think this season, but now as it came through on lap 15, we had actually gotten back to the inside of the 24 of William Byron. Logano had actually been dropping back. All 3 of us, myself, Byron, and Harvick, had all run down Joey Logano, and we used Logano as a bit of a pick to be able to clear the 24 of William Byron, and then we would also clear the 22 of Logano and take P8 back from the 22, and now set our sights on our teammate of Kevin Harvick. We came through to start the final lap in the stage. The fuel icon, the tire icon had both come on. Denny Hamlin at this point was leading down the back straightaways. He tries to make it to the Final Four for the second season in a row in our career mode, as we need every single point we can get, so we're going to do what we can here to pounce on the opportunity to look to the inside of our teammate of Kevin Harvick as we go down into turn 3, side by side for the position through turns 3 and turns 4. Denny Hamlin would win the stages. We're a little bit sideways there to make contact with our teammate of Harvick, and he gets a position as we cross the line to get P8 here in stage 1. So a potential lost point right there here in Texas, which could certainly cost us, especially in the next episode at ISM, as we would pay for 2 cans of fuel though and 4 tires. And I decided this time we would also go back into the pit options and make a slight wedge adjustment adjustment because the car felt just a little bit too tight, especially on the short run. So I decided to, like I said, make that adjustment a very slight one. So hopefully it will at least help us a little bit more here in this second stage. Now as we're ready to go green here for stage 2. So we got 3 points in stage 1. Now those points could be very big for us, obviously. Now as the green flag is back up, Martin Truex Jr. on our inside. He is not in a great position right now on points now as it's a 19-lap second stage. So plenty of time to get stuff done here today in Texas now as we're starting on the outside lane, exactly where we don't want to be because the outside is terrible at this racetrack. So I'm getting aggressive here on this restart, making a 3 wide up the middle between the 1 and the 24 of Byron, then actually back out of it and get in line behind the 24 of William Byron, so that way we can have the advantage over, say, the 1 car of Kurt Busch, who's also fighting to get himself into the final 4 at Homestead, Miami now as we come through, looking to the inside of him down this front straightaway down into turns 1. So now we're going to try and climb our way back forwards here. Just like I said, starting on the outside is such a disadvantage at many tracks in this game, but especially Texas there, as we would get into a battle with William Byron, but he would be able to clear us as we were holding on to P8 at this point. Now he's behind us. There's a spinner. It's the 31 of Ty Dillon, who's going to go airborne now off the hood of Matt Benedetto, lands on the 71 of Ryan Truex and ends up on his roof as the caution flies here in Texas. A big crash for Ty Dillon. No one pitted, so we would stay out and get right back into the action here in Texas on lap 7 of 19 in the second stage. Now lap 8 of 19 there, as you see Kyle Busch, who started on pole, down to the 5th position. Denny Hamlin leads the way alongside the 9 of Chase Elliott in P3 and P4. That is Martin Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick. Now we're going to get aggressive, going 3 wide again on this restart like we did on the last restart, this time with Keselowski and William Byron there on our outside now as we go down into turns 3, into turns 4 as well. Now as we come through the center of the corner, trying to make some progress passing that 24, but we've had bad luck here in the last few restarts, starting on that outside lane as we're still 3 wide up the middle now with the 31 of Tyler Reddick on my inside as we go down towards turns 1, and the 31 drifts up the track and hits us in the left rear, and that moves us way up nearly into the side of the 24, and that cost us a ton of time now. Sure enough though, we would battle back up to P11, actually running down the 31 of Tyler Reddick, and I felt like I had to make it known that I wasn't very happy with him from earlier on that restart. So we get into his left rear, nearly turn him into turn 3, but he hangs onto the guard. I did not want to turn him. I just wanted to let him know that I didn't like what he did, and sure enough, thankfully, we would not actually take him out now as we came through down on now lap 14 of 19 in the stage, running P10 at this point, trying to hold off the 1 car of Kurt Busch, who was charging very hard though at this point. Now as we come through down this front straightaway, he, sure enough, on lap 16, got to my inside on the exit of turn 2. I just could not hold that bottom like the 1 car quite could. Now as you're side by side down this back straightaway into turn 3, I decided to just fall in line behind the 1 as we made a brief amount of contact there on his right rear. But we would actually be able to stick with the 1 car as we came through on lap 17 and 19. He went all the way to the top, and that allowed me to fight back on the inside as we would be side by side down the back straightaway. Kyle Busch back out in front at this point here, approaching just 2 laps to go in the second stage. And through turns 3 and turns 4, we would clear the 1 car of Kurt Busch, and at this point we would be able to hold on because we had actually driven away here on the final lap now in the second stage, exiting turn 2, heading down this back straightaway for the final time here in stage 2. So once again, not going to be a lot of stage points for us, but every single point is going to be helpful now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4. Kyle Busch wins stage 2, which will be great for him to potentially lock himself in on points into the final 4, but we cross the line here to get P10 in the second stage. Now as that 1 point could be a lot in the next episode now, as there you see the top 5 in the stages. We would obviously pit again for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires, and I decided to actually go up on the adjustment, basically revert the adjustment we made at the end of stage 1 now as we would get ready to go green here for the 3rd and final stage, and once again we're restarting on the outside, unfortunately. So we're ready to go green here for the 3rd and final stage, which is a pretty lengthy final stage here at Texas Motor Speedway. The green flag is back out. Can Kyle Busch win his way in to the final 4? He has been dominant this season. 10 wins he has as we go down into turns 1. Just under 40 laps to go. So like I said, a fairly lengthy final stage. Now as we're going to go 3 wide up the middle between the 2 Ganassi drivers of Larson and Kurt Busch. Now as we were rumored earlier this season to be potentially driving that 42 car next season, but we now know that's not going to happen as we go down into turn 3. 1 more season it is in the 41 car, and then we have to basically figure out where we're going after that now, as we're going to have a whole season to kind of figure out what team we want to go to and hopefully have a proper send-off with this 41 car in next season. Now it's come through up the inside of the 20 of Eric Jones, getting into the back of Joey Logano, and he goes sliding into turns when we get into his back bumper there, as we pick up a little bit of damage on the front end, as that was all on me there as we get into the 31 again like we did earlier in the race. But that was all on me. I just drove straight into the back of the 22. There's no doubt about it there, as I knew I was coming up on him, but I figured that the bump wasn't going to make him go sideways, and unfortunately we fell down all the way to P15 after this happened, behind the 21 of Paul Menard, the 8 of Daniel Hemrick. But then the caution would come out with 33 laps to go, and nobody was pitting, so obviously we have to stay out. But you see, we're P15, so at least we'll be restarting on the inside lane for this one. Now as we get ready to go back green, Kyle Busch still leads the way, and restarting on this inside could get us back towards a top 10 position. There, as you see, one of the playoff contenders up ahead of Joey Logano. There's Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch obviously leading as we went 3 wide down into turns 1 actually here, as we're trying to make up as much ground as possible through the center of the corner behind the now 20 car of Eric Jones. Jones was obviously a very early exit in the playoffs. He still has not won, I don't believe, this season. Now, as I think last season in our career mode he got 1 win. This season I believe he's still looking for win number 1 now, as he has been consistent enough to make it into the playoffs in both seasons, but he just hasn't quite had the consistency that his other Joe Gibbs Racing teammates have had. But we will continue battling forwards once again here now on lap 59, making a pass on the 31 of Tyler Reddick, as now the 2 of Brad Keselowski had actually taken the lead for a brief period of time. Obviously, he is locked into the Final Four. He will be competing for a championship in Miami, but Kyle Busch, sure enough, would take the lead back. You see, I actually got passed by Eric Jones a little bit after we had made that pass on the 31 of Tyler Reddick, as I was trying to battle back on the inside. You saw up in the outside wall, though, was the 24 of William Byron, who went spinning, and the caution would come out with 23 laps to go, as we would pit again here for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires. William Byron passed us early on stage 1, and he had been running up in the top 10 this whole race, and then unfortunately for Byron, he spins and loses control obviously, and in the outside wall he went, and here we are restarting once again on the outside lane down in P14. That's really been something bad for us here today, as we've been restarting on the outside, but thankfully we're able to actually get in line behind the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now is actually, you might notice up front that little on the track map, it looks like a kind of odd number leading it. Sure enough, it is, as we get into the back of the 17 of Stenhouse, but it is the 36 of Matt Tifft who was leading the way, so he was holding up everybody, and this was a huge opportunity for us, because we come to the end of that lap now, and you see Tifft, he's drifting down the order, and all of a sudden we're up here in P11. Parker Kligerman was the other driver to stay out with Matt Tifft, and he was also in the way, so all of a sudden we're back in the top 10 here, and we climbed up to P8. Now it came to on lap 70, but we actually started to fall off a bit as Martin Truex Jr., he was able to get to my inside, as Kyle Busch had continued to lead at this point as we came through turns 1 and turns 2. We got into the right rear of Truex, and as soon as I touched the rear of his car, it shoots me up the track. He's managed to keep it off the wall, and thankfully nothing went wrong there. But as we came through now a few laps later, the 37 of Chris Buescher was actually able to put the pressure on me now on lap 72, and he would be able to take a position away from me, as the car was just a little bit too tight at this point in the run, and we were just trying my best to hold on now, as we would both run down the 22 of Joey Logano like we did earlier in this race. We ran down the 22 and passed him, and sure enough, again, we'd be able to get past the 22 of Logano, back up to P9 as Kyle Busch continued to lead. Kyle Busch, at this point, he was driving away with the win. He's definitely looking at this point like he's going to lock himself in to the Final Four now, as we continue to try and battle up the inside of the 37 of Chris Buescher, but he would not lay over too easy. But we know how important every point's going to be, so we certainly just can't give up. But I actually decided to get in behind him for a few moments now, as we came through to 8 laps to go, still battling with Chris Buescher, as we would clear him this time though. And it turns 1 as we came through the center of the corner, drifting up the track, trying to stay clear though in front of the 4 of Harvick. Sure enough, we would hold off the 4 for a brief amount of time, but we came through on lap 78, and Harvick finally would get to my inside down this back straightaway, so I decided to get in behind him and try to use his draft to my advantage. So sure enough, we just kind of continued to ride behind him and increase the gap to the cars behind us who had fallen off quite significantly. Now, once again though, we have a sprinter coming to 2 laps to go as Ty Dillon, like earlier in the race. He flipped over earlier, and here he is crashing with just 2 laps to go at Texas Motor Speedway, and this will force overtime here at Texas. Kyle Busch was running away with the victory, about to lock himself into the Final Four, but now he will have to hold on. A charging pack of cars behind him now as the green flag is back out, and overtime is underway here in Texas now, as we are once again green on lap 86 of 87. Chase Elliott in P3, who is looking like he is very eager to maybe put the pressure on the 18 of Kyle Busch as come through turns 1 and turns 2. Truex on the outside. Hamlin started P2. He's falling off quite significantly now as we go 3 wide with Eric Jones and Martin Truex Jr., the JGR duo right here on our outside as we go down into turn 3. Busch goes high and Chase Elliott goes to the bottom. Elliott on the outside looking in right now on the cut line, but here he is side by side with Kyle Busch now, as we do not want Chase Elliott to win because this will put us in a very tough position on points. Right now we were probably about 14-15 to the good, but Chase Elliott taking the lead here through turns 1 on the final lap could be huge for his playoffs and our own now as we exit turn 2 side by side with the 2 of Keselowski. I knew right here we need every point we can get because it looks like Elliott's going to win and put us in a very bad spot. Now as we go down into turn 3, clearing the 2 just about now as Elliott is holding off the 42 of Larson, who has nothing for him. Keselowski tries to battle back, but Chase Elliott will win and advance into the Final Four as we come through to cross the line to finish in P5 here in Texas. As Chase Elliott has changed everything here for especially us and another driver like Denny Hamlin in the playoff grid. And you'll see right there how much it affects us. We're now only 1 point to the good when we would have been about 17 points to the good if Elliott did not win. And I said after the race, Elliott put us in a bad spot with his win. That's a sad Texas-style yeehaw for us right there after that race now. As I hope, Vixen, you're happy with that yeehaw there I threw in for the video. But as always, if you guys did enjoy this video, though, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. Unfortunately, Elliott winning has put us in a really tough spot going into ISM Raceway, so now we're only 1 point to the good. We're still in, but it's going to be a lot of hard work at a track that we usually run like 10th at compared to Denny Hamlin. So we'll see what we can do in the next one. So thank you for watching, everyone, and have yourselves a great day.